Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Enoch Pratt Free Library. I'm Vivian Fisher, Deputy Chief of Enoch Pratt Free Library State Library Resource Center. And it's my pleasure to have each of you, one of you here this evening. So thank you for joining us for this event this evening for this special Brown Lecture Series with Angélique Kidjo. But before I introduce tonight's speaker, I would like to remind everyone that all Pratt Library locations across the city are now open at 100% capacity. So we hope to see you if you haven't been back to visit us yet. And now for tonight's speaker. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome to Baltimore and the Pratt Library five-time Grammy Award-winning singer, activist, and humanitarian Angélique Kidjo is one of the greatest artists in international music today. A creative force with 14 albums to her name, Angelique has been called Africa's premier diva by Time and was named one of the Guardian's 100 most inspiring women in the world. With the strength of her voice and the power of her words, Angelique creates music that transcends every language and connects the entire world. Kidjo's career began in the West African country of Benin, where she performed with her mother's theater troupe at age 6. Her memoir, Spirit Rising, My Life, My Music, embodies Angelique's vibrant personality with a foreword by Desmond Tutu and an introduction from Alicia Keys. Publishers Weekly called the book a beautifully told tale of courage and determination, revealing revealing an expansive life that proves music has no color, no language, no boundaries. Angelique was one of the first women on Forbes' list of the most powerful celebrities in Africa, and included on the BBC's list of Africa's 50 most iconic figures, celebrating her exceptional courage in standing up to injustice and improving the world through art. Angelique was awarded the prestigious 2015 Crystal Award by the World Economic Forum in Davos and the 2016 Amnesty International Ambassador of Conscience Award. And now, without further ado, please welcome Angelique Kidjo to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Blewe, blewe, blewe mianda kwelo, blewe mianda kwelo, blewu. Gaga ga ko manyona sonlio. Bleu, bleu, po magnona son leo la doa sikbe da tata. Bleu. Ma ou se gomire ya kwena mia gome ya o. Tikpe sine mire ya kwena mia gome ya o. Mina unjo, mi dogbera. Mina unjo, mi dogbera, bueno kaka mia poase kwebenyo, bueno kaka mia poase kwebenyo, mle uye mianda kwelo, mle uye mianda kwelo, mle u. Thank you. That was a song of thank you for coming, and the song that bless everyone for being here and bless you back home safe. And it's a song of peace. We need peace. We need peace definitely in the world we live in today. So that have been said, I know you already read my book, so I don't know what I'm going to do telling you about my life already. I much more prefer to have a conversation with you, but let me give you the the insight in the person that I am today, where it comes from. It comes from a dedication of my mom and my dad, basically. Both of them, which is what is very rare in Africa, were single kids, raised by their mothers because they lost their father. Both of them never grew up knowing who their father was because the father died. My mom's father died when my grandma was pregnant, and my father was born. It was like 2 months when his father passed away. So those two women have suffered hell when they refused to marry the closest kin to the husband because they say we are human beings. We are not merchandise that you pass on from one bed to the other. So when you say such a thing in those times, you are left alone with no support of the family of your husband. So both of them have to find the way to raise the children. My father's mother started selling the fabric, African fabric as we know it. She get there with a lot of difficulties because the market was not open for women at that time. It was only male. It was the church that imposed that widows should not set a foot in the market. And then she go, okay, I'm going to speak to the Pope. He gonna write me a letter say it's okay for widows that have no money to prostitute to feed their kids. And the priest of the church said, you're going nowhere. We figured out, found a solution for you. Because she was adamant to do that. My mother's mother, her sister, welcomed her in her house with her husband. So that's how they were able to raise two two wonderful human beings. And my mom wanted to have so many kids. My father was like, I wish she stopped one day. She has 10 kids, 7 boys and 3 girls. And both of them being educated, they'd set the goal from the get-go that they would educate all of the kids. My mom has made a contract with my father, say, my passion is theater. One day gonna come, I'm gonna have my theater group. My father said, anything you want, darling. So every year, pretty much around end of August, beginning of September, the house will see swath of people coming in, convincing my father to marry his daughters. And my father said, nope, my daughters are not merchandises. They're gonna go to school, they have a brain, they have to use it. And I didn't understand the scope of the courage that it demands for my father to stand against a whole society and tradition that have been there before. And if I'm here today, is because of the courage of my father to say, no one gonna touch my kids. There was scarification that we have to have in the face. My father said, I'll pay you for this, the ceremony, or you ain't touching my kid's face. Because we don't know what the future gonna look like. So nobody gonna touch them. It was every time a fight all along the step. And with a child like me that have a nickname, when, why, how, I ask so much question every time I go to the village. It was, you see all the elderly people start dashing out that the place get empty. But I know where everybody lives. So I go by and sit on the bed and say, you didn't answer my question. And then they look at me like, why you ask question? I say, because if I don't ask, I don't know. And then they look at me, they laugh, and they give me the answer. And they teach me songs. Some of them will complain at my father, your daughter asks too much question. And my father say, why don't you answer her? And then she get out of here. So this is the person that I become because my father has encouraged my curiosity. And it has encouraged all of us to question our being, to question with smartness, to read. My father, he read more book than I ever seen anyone read. But no matter how many bookshelves you make, you put in his room, it's full, and you sit on the bed, you got the book poking you on both sides. I'm like, why are you reading 2 books at the same time? And then he goes, what is your problem? It's my books. I'll do whatever I want with them. But what was really interesting is that my mom and dad brought music, theater, arts in general home. And as a little girl, I'll be running around like crazy. There's a well in the house till today, and I'll be running around it. I be asking my mom question, running around. She goes, I can't hear you. Can you stop? No, there's something I gotta do there. You have to answer me, then I can answer my friends. I was just like crazy, man. I don't know how they did this. And my mom would put cotton bud in her ears because first this new song comes in. I don't care if it's in a language I don't speak, I will sing it. I won't sing it, I'll belt it out. I'll be screaming the song, and she's like, I said, Mom, you don't like my voice? Yeah, but singing is not screaming. You screaming right now. And my brothers, they were overprotective too. My older brother taught himself to play guitar and all the instruments pretty much. And they have the first modern music brand that ever existed in Benin. So one day he was playing the guitar and I walked in the room and he wore an Afro wig. I'm like, dude, what's up with the Afro wig? My brother was born bald. He never had no hair. And I said, you pretending to be somebody else? He said, no, I'm not pretending. I want to play the guitar like this guy. I said, yes. He's singing in language I don't know. He's African, right? And then he goes, no, he's African American. I was 9 years old and I said, well, you can't be African and American at the same time. Smarty pants. And my brother said, yes, you can. I said, because I'm 9 years old, you think I'm stupid? My brother said, you asked me a question and I answered now I mean, what's up with that? I said, but I want more answer. How can you be African and American at the same time? And then he said, he's a slave descendant. I said, what is a slave? What is a descendant? He said, if I stand here and start answering questions, I'm never going to play my guitar. Go ask grandma. And I hate when adults do that. Is that just shovel you away like, come on, go ask somebody else. So I went to my grandma and I asked, and she started telling me the story of slavery. I'm like, Grandma, are you sure your head is all right? And then she said, I'm telling you the truth. And that did not resonate in me because here I am raised in a household where my mom and dad always say to me, a human being is not a matter of color. You do not come back here and tell me you failed because you're black, because that's the first time we slap your damn face. And I'm like, Grandma, no, what you're saying don't make no sense to me. So I brush it off. I turned 15 and we were smuggling to the Nigerian TV because the TV come way after in Benin. And I tell you, to watch TV is a movie in a movie. You have my father on the on the ladder on top, and we all are saying, you have somebody looking at the TV, and we make a line to tell my father where to. I mean, no, left, no, a little bit right, till the I mean, it's the whole thing all the time. And we laugh, and then we sat down, and suddenly here comes Winnie Mandela talking about Nelson Mandela in apartheid in South Africa. It's like a big bang. I went out in rage. I was like, you lied to me. My skin color can be a liability. I can be killed because I'm black. And you telling me a human being is not a matter of color? I just lost it. And I wrote my first song, and the first draft of it was so violent. And my father said, hell no, not going to happen under my roof. I didn't teach you violence. I didn't teach you hate. It does not have any room in this house. If you want to sing and write music, you have to be the one that hold the keys that open all doors. You can't just going out there being angry at everybody. You have no life. You got to rewrite that song. So I went back and rewrote the song, and it became a song for peace. And then I sat down and I have conversation with my father. My father said, is in our story slavery? Your grandma told you, and you said, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, it's a human story. It's not all black only. Slavery have impacted everybody. No one is immune from this crime. But you have to find a way to live in it. You have to find a way to talk to people. We have to find a way to come to a closure. Otherwise, we are open wound walking. And that is not a life. So from that point on, I said to myself, or I become a human rights lawyer, or a surgeon or a musician. And I went to the law university. I didn't even last a trimester because I can't take it. When my teacher of law told me that in order for me to become a human rights lawyer, I have to study politics. I'm like, politics? Yuck! No way. And then he said, okay, let me pose you a question. Okay. You defending somebody, you have the proof. You know in your guts that this person is innocent. But the country where he comes from messed up. And this is happening. And there is an outcry around the world. And somebody have to be a scapegoat. And it's your client. I said, which government? That government is coming to my court. And then he said, no, you don't know how it functions. I said, okay, I'm out of here. And then he said to me, well, why do you want to be a lawyer? I said, for justice. And then he said to me, as imperfect as we are, so is our laws. Because most of the time, law don't serve justice. So if you're looking for justice, I don't think that's where you're going to find it. So I'm out. I'm going to sing. So I decided that my career will be to build bridges between culture, to work with people across music genre. Because let's face it. Okay, let's face the truth. There will be no music, modern music, classical music, if it was not for the slave trade. Because the African music is in our DNA. We all African. We are Homo sapiens. We all come from Africa. Your skin color don't matter. And when I realized that traveling and talking to people and we start speaking the same language when it comes to music, then I realized that racism is a man-made for profit. So from that point on, I'm like, I don't care. You don't like me. It's your problem, not mine. So my whole career has been dedicated to bring awareness in the music that we listen to. When you listen to a music and you like it, if you don't see the cover, you don't know if it's a black person singing or black or white or whoever is singing it. So let's, get down to business and let's get to see each other as human beings with equal right. Because the truth of it, when you receive an organ transfer, if they don't tell you the person is black or white and you're dying, you don't care if it's a black person's liver. You get it and you leave with it. When we are thirsty, we all drink this. This has no color. And all those things, I learned that also by my father not opening the house for those kind of ideas. The house was open to every single human being. Sometimes I come back from school, I'm like, which language are they speaking today? And you walk in, it can be German, it can be Chinese, it can be, I'm like, and I'll sit down and say, I don't know no language, but I listen. Because my father said, this house have to be open for us to be able to talk to people that come from different part of the world, to understand how they think and how we can interact with one another. At the exception of racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism, there were no platform for those three. My father said, I'm open, but I don't have room for haters. I don't want them in my house. So I grew up with that. That's what get me to everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm smiling. People like, I'm like, some are gonna say something nasty and racist. I look around and smile, and the person is like, she's not mad. I say, no, I'm not mad. I'm just sorry you're stupid. But why should I be mad? That person has an opinion. His opinion don't define who I am. And I've learned this when I'm 12 years old, because I started singing at 6 years in my mom theater. And it was cute. Everybody's like, oh, she's so cute. She sings so good. And then people actually kick in. And I was walking back from school and people start spitting on me, throwing stone at me, calling me prostitute because I sing. I'm like, what? I came home. I was crying. I said, I'm not going to say. My grandmother, my mom's mother was visiting. And she said, what is the problem after cleaning me up? Why are you sobbing? Just keep quiet. Talk to me. And I told her that I'm not singing anymore. And then she's go, why? And I said, people calling me prostitute because I sing. My grandma said, I got news for you. You can't love everybody, and everybody can't love you. It goes both ways. If you let other people define who you are and your choices, you won't have a life because you can't please. You have to please yourself first. If you don't please yourself, you can't please nobody. And you won't please everybody. That's not going to work. I'm telling you now, you got to learn. In this house, we all support your singing. Do we tell you not to sing? Do we call you name? I said, no. She said, so you value the opinion of people you don't know versus the opinion of your family? What's wrong with you? Are you stupid? I'm like, okay, all right, I got it. And my mom, my father's mother said other thing because when she heard it, she goes, let me tell you something. She was my father's mother. Ooh, boy. That woman, ooh, oh my God. She got a mouth. Ooh, she can kill you with 2 words and you just disappear and sink in the earth. She looked at me and said, who do you think you are? I said, why you aggressing me like that? I said, God sent us his kid and we managed to kill him. And who you think you are? I said, Grandma, I ain't Jesus. And she said, I'm just giving you an example. If we are able to kill God's son, who do you think you are that you want people to love you completely? Are you crazy? I'm like, okay, I got it. Don't be mad at me. My grandmother, my mother's mother is trying to find a nice way. She just come in and said, get out of here. I'm like, okay. I get that. So I grew up between those two women with different approach of world. And I have to balance all that. And sometimes I'm like, I ain't talking to my father's mother because she just brutally honest. She will tell you as it is. And sometimes I need some love. She ain't giving you none of that. and then and then sometimes I say, well, why are you so tough? She said, my life have been tough. And I learned being tough. And if you don't learn from me, you're gonna be killed because of your kindness. I said, no, nobody ain't killing me with my kindness. She said, yeah, keep on talking. My grandmother is too much, man. And my father would say, Nana, stop talking like that. And his mother gonna go, I didn't teach you to be soft either. Did I? And I'm like, okay, that conversation is over. So that's the background I grew up in, having to maneuver between my uncles, my aunties. Whoo! It was something else. And that what made me the person I am today. So let's talk now. I can talk more about myself, but we can do questions now and have a discussion. Or you want me to talk more about my life? All right, okay. I continue then. So one thing that was important also is my mom's feminism. When I talk about feminism, it's all about other people, but not African women. But they have their own agency too. When I was 8 years old, my mom has a group of friends that would campaign for women's right to vote, to marry who they want to marry, not those arranged marriage. You don't love the guy, and I get. My mom said, "No, I'm not gonna work." So at 8 years old, I was singing with them. I was singing feminist song without even knowing that I'm singing a feminist song. And that is my mother. And when she started her theater troupe, how many times have people come home and tell my father, Frank, who's wearing the pants in the house? You let your wife with it. My father said, do I come to your house and tell you how you lead your house? Just get out of here. If my wife is happy, I'm the happiest man on the planet. So go away. And I'm like, ooh, I wish I one day I marry a guy like that. Because if you're gonna tell me to sit down home to serve you, yeah, I am not your wife. That ain't gonna work. So I've seen that dynamic of my mom and dad, especially my dad telling my brothers, if you ever raise a hand on a woman, don't come back here. Personally, I go to the city hall and remove my name from your birth certificate. I don't do that. And my mom said the same thing to my brother. You want to live in this house? You come to the market with me. You have to know the price of things. You have to know how to cook. You have to know how to iron. You have to know everything that we do. God forbid something happened to your wife. Who's going to take care of your kids? So all my brothers, me, I can't sew to save my own life. So when I buy my pants and I'm looking for somebody to sew my pants, I went I call my brother. Are you home? Can I come and see you? And then he goes, oh, how many pants are you bringing? I said, 2 or 3. Okay, bring them. So I come, we eat, and then he put the pants on. He put it on, iron it, cut it, and do my hem, and that call it a day. But I can knit, so I do pullover. I said, you do my pants, I'll do a pullover for winter time. So
Is that tradition still in the new now where the woman can't go to market? How is it now?
oh no, things are changing. Oh my God. You get to the market now and you're a guy and you open your mouth, man, they're gonna chop in pieces. No, 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 no. No. There are men and women in the market. But when the men start doing plain stupid, going, they go look at him and say, you gonna sleep in a quiet house today or you want hair? The guy go, no. Because you don't want to go home and not have food. Oh yeah, you start having business since you're a kid. They teach you. I mean, my grandma tried to teach me how to sell stuff. I got no patience for people bargaining with me, so I'll come back with the same thing. My sister will go 2 or 3 times, sell everything, and then my grandma said, "What's up with you?" I said, "I don't have time with people, man. I don't have determined." All right, question. Here comes the question. Do do do.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And Miss Kidjo, thank you for this enlightening conversation. Your humor is amazing. And it's just been a pleasure meeting you. So, the first question for today is speak on today's urban culture, music, and lyrics. Is it conducive to wholesome living?
I don't know. I don't know. It depends,
Right.
right? It depends because for me, I when I start singing, I always sing with purpose, and I'm always telling a story because I come from a storytelling background. So I'm not immune to the world in which I live in. So everything that I do is to empower people to understand their own power, their own fragility, their own uniqueness, their own humanity, to be able to make the next step to make a living. Because through song, I've learned who I am, where I come from, and I understand that I might not know where I'm going, but I definitely know where I'm going to come back. So for me, it's not always about making a living, it's the purpose of the things. Because if we always think we need money, don't get me wrong. Money is not bad at all. It's what we do with money.
Mhm.
My grandmother used to say, when you have money, you have to be the one that dictate to the money what the money got to do, not the other way around. So you're making a living, making music. You have to understand that your music live with people in their homes, with their kids. You have to make music that empower the whole family and educate the younger also to understand the choices of music later on.
What is the origin story for the song Aminaria? Am I saying that correctly? Aminira.
Ominira. Aminira, no. Ominira means freedom. And I wrote this song with a singer songwriter from Brazil called Vinicius Cantuaria. And without freedom, there's no humanity. Because people think that their freedom is more important than yours. No, you are not free if I'm not free.
Right.
As long as we have people on this planet that won't be free, we will never be free.
Mhm.
So that's why I wrote that song. I say each one of us we have the responsibility to fight for somebody else's freedom, not only our freedom, because our humanity depends on each other. We are each other's keeper. So freedom, when a child is born, the child that come out of the mom's womb doesn't come with shackles. So that freedom is a birthright and it's a human right. And as long as we will deny our people from their freedom, we are shackling ourselves. The person that denies your freedom is denying himself the freedom or herself the freedom. You might think you have it by denying the other person's freedom. You don't have the freedom as long as I do.
Mhm. And I just want to note that question came from Mexico City, and they said they love you in Mexico City.
Oh, I love them too. I can't wait to go back there.
What was the most challenging part of recording Remain in Light and the most fun part?
You know, when I arrived in France in 1983, I did not know when I would be able to speak to my parents because I was running away from communist dictatorship. Those who are fancying, who are looking for dictatorship in this country, they don't know what it is. Because once your freedom is taken away from you, it's in blood that you get your freedom back. And even that is not enough. And once you live in that kind of system, you cherish freedom and democracy as much as the democracy we live in is not perfect. I don't think that I would choose dictatorship. And when I arrived in Paris, I was really sad. The first year, there was no day that goes by without me crying because of the risk that my parents took to send me away. I didn't know because at that time, before you leave Benin, you need to ask an authorization to go out. And in that authorization, you have to say how long you're going away and if you're coming back. And it has to be stamped on your passport. So I didn't have that. So when my father left me at the airport, leaving, I could see him sobbing because he can turn anywhere. I can end up in jail or make it to France. So it happened that I was lucky that the custom agent that was there was a friend of my brother's. And the guy said to me, run. And I ran. Faster than I've ever run in my life. And I get into that plane. And I arrive in France, and 3 months in France, still homesick. 10 years of music has passed by without me not knowing it. Because they don't play talking heads in Benin at that time. No, it was not there. So I tagged along with some friends that said, hey, my parents just filled my fridge. You want free food? You student, you said no to free food. Are you crazy? I'm like, I'm tagging along. I'm going for the free food. So here we are. And then they were playing cassette. When I say cassette, it feel like a century ago. I mean, and we were all singing. And then suddenly the song Once in a Lifetime came in. Da, 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 and it filled me with joy and at the same time with sadness because that song has something African in it. And of course, the stupid guy said, what are you doing? You're dancing. This is rock and roll. It's not African music. I'm like, hey, get away, man. You stupid. Just leave me alone. So, and I decided to take that song on. And I was singing the song. And then my husband and a friend of mine said, you singing the iconic song from an album of an iconic band. I'm like, what are you talking about? Iconic what? They said, the talking heads. I said, play me the whole thing. And I sat in my living room from the first song to the end. I'm like, I'm copying everything. I'm covering the whole song. And the friend said, Angelique, no, you always sing with purpose. Those words are absurd. I said, you don't grow up with elderly talking to you in Proverbs. And you have to figure out, you crack your head to understand what is that. you think that album is complicated? I got news for you. So we sat down with my husband. We just finished the album Eve. And all those women that I want their voice to be heard have sung hours of song. And as I put talking heads and put the women, it becomes obvious that the women have to be the answer to this. And the proverb fits the purpose of each song. So that's how I did. I have lots of fun doing it because Talking Heads album, Remaining Light, was influenced by the album of Fela, Aphrodisiac. So Yoruba culture is in my home because my mom, from her mother's side, I'm Yoruba too. So I just said, don't try too hard. Bring the traditional singing to the rock and roll, and it works. Perfect. That's why I say all the music comes from Africa.
That's true. What prompted you to start your foundation for girls?
Ooh, I'll try to be quick. That's a long one. I've been appointed UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 2002, and it coincided with the year where they signed the children's right to education into many different things. So we started a campaign for universal primary education for all girls and young boys. So I started recording PSAs for radios, public service announcement for radios, TV in many different languages. And the school were overwhelmed by enrollment. They didn't have enough space for the kids, so they would do 2 classes a day, the one that come in the morning, the one that go in the afternoon. And in that mayhem that I created for my PSA, I arrived in Tanzania. Some mothers, I mean, I love to meet mothers. You can't send kids to school without talking to the mothers, right? And they say, Angelique, we love you. You know that, right? I say, yes, I love you too. They say, you know very well that if our girls, they finish primary school and they don't go to secondary school, they're going to end up like us being married at 12 or 10 years old. I'm like, ooh, shh. I got to think about this. So I came back and I asked the question. They said, no, well, secondary school, the rate of dropout is high, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was trying to discourage me. It's the waste of time. And at one point I get mad. I said, if it's easy, why bother? Why are you telling me it's not possible? So I find out somebody that introduced me to 2 friends out of Washington, D.C. And they have a law firm. They are the one that bring back the whistleblowing litigation. And so every time they will win a case, they'll put in a fund that they call opportunity fund that they were already using to do little things. And then when I met them, they said, what do you want? I say, I want to work the dirt road. I want to go to villages where no one goes to send those girls to school because it's impossible for me to let them hanging behind. And they say, what is your plan? I said, okay, I don't want the girls that I'm going to put to school to cost a penny to the parents because they are poor already. They're already poor. So I will offer the uniform, the books, tutoring, mentoring, scholarship, and 1 meal a day. And then I was invited as soon as I start Batonga about USAID. And they said, we're gonna team up with you because the girl you are targeting, we have them. And we were already worrying that if they finish primary school, where do they go? So we start from there. And I said to myself, let's work with NGOs, local NGOs of women, people that are working with those adolescent girls. For me not to spend money paying people, but just putting the money into the program and to send the girls to school to manage to give them a good education. So we start in Benin, Mali, Cameroon, Ethiopia, and Sierra Leone. And to make a long story short, 2016 arrived. Most of them graduate. Some of them are still in university. I decided that now I want data on what we do. We have to prove what we're doing, right? So I started working with Population Council in New York. And they developed a technology called Girl Roster. In that, you can map a community of 5,000 people a day to understand if the girls are living alone, are they pregnant, are they married, what are their skills, how we can tap into their skill and find a job for them. So this was what I'm doing in 2 villages in my country now. That is really successful because they start with their business, they deal with the money, and everything they do is to empower the family and the community. And I can tell you, I don't have anything to do every time I'm at all. They come up with stuff, I go like, huh? That's it, because you empower them to be who they want to be.
Amen. Who were some of your musical influences?
Ooh. I will start with the traditional musician in my country because there's so many music coming to the house that my brain sometimes is bouncing back and forth. What kind of music is that? And I can't understand. I go, okay, can y'all play the drums on this? They say, play the music. You play the music, they play the drum. I'm like, okay, if they can play, then it's mine. Next. I start with them. And then Miriam Makeba, of course. But the first Black woman I saw on the cover of an album was actually Aretha Franklin. Because you have Black male, white male, everything male. No women. I'm like, woo. And then she came in with that album where she was sitting in front of a church. Whoo. And I walked in, the singer that sings for my brother's band, that guy have such an ego, this place can't even take it. It's also, there's no music, I can't sing. And have that big head. And I come back from school, and then he's sweating, saying, oh, I can't sing this. I'm like, huh? He can't sing? What it is? Then I went around and I see, whoa! I like, oh, he can't sing, a woman singing. Ooh, I like this. And I took the cover of the album and I stood in front of him and said, I was what, 7 years old? I said, You can't sing a song of a woman, then you're not a guy then. And I ran because if they catch me, they beat the crap out of me. That was my introduction to the powerful voice of Aretha. And when I start listening to it, I say, oh, of course, he can't sing it. He doesn't have the guts to sing this song. And then Miriam Makeba. Then you have Bella Bello, and then so on and so forth. James Brown, I love James Brown. I used to tell my mom, when I grow up, I want to be James Brown. And she goes, no, you can't. I say, yes, I can. And one day I get pissed off. I go, Dad, why mom is trying to crush my dream? When I grow up, I want to be James Brown. And my dad said, go ask your mom. As soon as he said that, I said, something is cheesy here. But I'm James Brown in spirit.
How do you keep your music fresh?
Because I'm always changing all the time. I always do. A journalist told me one day, we expect you somewhere and you're always somewhere else.
Mm.
Because I said, why do you expect me somewhere? I don't even know what my next album going to be. It depends on my inspiration. And I have no power over it. As Philip Glass will say, inspiration from the domain of the unknown. And Philip Glass is from Baltimore. Ah, you guys have good people from Baltimore.
What are your thoughts on cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation? Do you feel this is something artists should be wary of?
The thing is, if we talk about cultural appropriation, there's no music. Because we are inspired by one another, or by what have come before us. No one is creating anything new. We have only 12 notes for music, right? So, of course, something gonna sound familiar. But me, for my take on this is, there's no cultural appropriation, there's cultural expansion. Otherwise, every music will have died from now on. Your music don't leave, don't get to meet with other music, it disappears. You shouldn't be worried about what you write. You shouldn't worry about the music you do. If you're happy singing it, people gonna love it. Sing it. Why are we? I don't see any issue about it. The only thing is sometimes people steal from other people and not say, if you take somebody's music,
Mhm.
come on, tell the person. Give the credit to the person. That is okay. But appropriation, and what do we bring to this earth? Tell me. When you die, you take something with you. Look at the pharaoh in Egypt. Where are their stuff? In museums. Hey, come on, appropriation or what?
How many languages do you speak
Oh, man.
fluently?
Don't start. No, I won't say. It looks like bragging. I don't talk about it. But the thing is, if you grow up in Africa, you can't speak one language. It's impossible. It's a continent. In my country, we are what? Almost 12 million people. We speak more than 50 languages. In Nigeria, forget it. I mean, and it goes on and on. And how do you, come on. America is big, but the only language you speak is English. Now you're having Spanish coming in, thank God. It's true, man.
So this person also commented that they love your take on Yoruba folk songs.
Of course. It's my heritage too.
The next question starts, greetings, daughter. What solutions do you offer for betrayed, isolated girls to find a place in the world and for acceptance?
I think that our girls, we need to teach them to love themselves before they go into the world. We have to empower our girls to understand that whatever happened to them, we will always be there. If you don't strengthen your girls, they are prey out there. I am able to be who I am because my parents had taught me to follow my instinct. I've taken risks, but always have a plan B. I know that every time I go somewhere, I look for the exit.
Mhm.
I don't go to any party and drink nothing.
Mhm.
If there's no water available, I go to the toilet and drink from the faucet.
Mm.
That's we have to teach our kids that their body is a sanctuary.
Mm.
That a no is a no, is not a maybe. Our girls are betrayed because we betrayed them, not giving them the tools they need to go out there and stand for themselves and fight back. We owe them that, and we owe the same thing to our boys.
Mhm.
Because today, out the world we are living with this network, social network thing, everybody's bullied.
Mhm.
LGBTQ, all those. We need to accept our kids for who they are and what they are, and stand next to them, beside, and in their heart, day in, day out. When they go out, they know I pick up my phone, I call mom, mom is there. I call dad, dad is there. I call my brother, he's there. My uncle, the whole family. It takes a village to raise a kid.
Yeah.
We cannot give up on our kids and expect that school gonna pick up the tab from there. It
Mhm.
doesn't work.
Mhm. What inspires your music? And I think you've touched on this a little bit, but
People, our human shared stories. Because I come from a storytelling background, telling story is important, especially Black people in the diaspora at large. We have to tell our story and own it, because our story can help somebody else. If we don't tell our story, we never gonna move forward. And we tell our story in a compelling way, in human way, not in violence, not in revenge. Because when you are angry, everything you do is tainted by pushing people away. Resentment is not good. When you're angry all the time, you become a bitter person.
Mhm.
Anger is not, there are anger that help you move forward, and there are angers that bury you alive. And I will never blame anybody for my mistakes. If I allow myself to do wrong to me, it's my fault. You fool me once, but you won't fool me twice. So I think that our shared humanity story needs to be told without bias, without pointing fingers, without saying, no, I don't care. Your skin color, for me, has always, I never see anyone in front of me and think of color. Sometimes I'm like, I come back home, I say, do I speak to? It doesn't cross my mind. Because when I marry a Frenchman, people tell me, you marry a white guy. I said, me? Oh, is he a human being?
Mm.
And they say, yes. I said, what the hell are you talking about then? White? What does that mean? You know white? Come on, take your bed linen and see. So that's a white man. I ain't white no my no white. I mean, it's crazy. The thing we come up with is that we need to tell our story in a way that we welcome our humanity at large. Because we cannot prevail by dwelling into the pain that have it inflicted on us. It's another jail cell that is built for us, that we have been willingly being and making the game of the one that profited from our misery. No, you ain't gonna profit from my misery. I don't care about you. You have capacity. I do too. You have a brain. I have a brain too. I am entrepreneur as much as you are. I mean, your talent, what you excel in, has no color, no language. Just stand and take it and say, this is what I do, and I'm going to do it until you say, amen.
Is there an event or person that would surprise most people that influenced your ability or your desire to write?
To write music or a book, you have to know. To write music, nothing stopped me. I mean, I'm influenced by people's story. I'm influenced by the time we live in. I mean, Mother Nature is the last album I wrote because I've seen the desperation of farmers in Africa. Farmer has nothing to do in the cities when they can't. they go leave their farm and come to the city because they can't harvest anything, it affects you because they are the ones that are feeding us. If they can't harvest anything anymore, sooner or later your plate's gonna be empty. So I decided to write this album and as a platform for the youth, young generation from America, from Africa, from Europe, to come on board, to ask them which world you want to live in. What is important to you? This is what this album is about. It's always the event and the struggle we are going through, the emergencies, the joy, the love, and the pain that I write about, but in a way that give us an outlet to move forward. I don't want to write a song that make people feel guilty or impact your ability to do something about it. I want you to think every time when you listen to my music about your own power. Because you decide to wake up every day. And when you make your planning, nobody's telling you what you gotta do. You know what you gotta do. Life demands courage if you want to live it. If you're a coward, you don't have a life. You are bitter, you're angry, and you want to break everything. Live a meaningful life. That's what my music is about. That's what I write about. For us to see every time I'm on stage and I face the public that is so diverse, I try to figure out some people might be going through some hell. Maybe health, maybe family, maybe something. But the music that I'm playing this moment bring everybody together. Please, when you leave, every word and every note I sing is to tell you, believe you are capable of wonderful things. You can move mountains without even thinking about it. Don't think too much about what you have to do. Love yourself so much that you would stand for yourself and stand for others. That's what I live for. That's what my life is dedicated to, and my singing and my being is dedicated to. Because I know for sure, especially during this pandemic, that we cannot live alone. It is impossible. Whoever said that to you, he's a liar or she's a liar. We are our faith, our human faith is together. Black, white, blue, whatever color you think you have. I don't care. But you cannot live without me living next to you. Something happens to you, sooner or later it's gonna knock on my door. Right? So that's what it is about to write for me. To write about what we have in common. I'm more focused on what we have in common more than thinking about what divide us. Nothing divide us but ourselves.
So this question came from us online, and it says, "Hi Angelique, my 10-year-old son wants to know what's your favorite song on the FIFA album. I introduced him to your music. I introduced him to your music while I've been listening to it since 1993. His favorites are Aquaba and Shango. We love you."
That child have a good taste. What? He like Shango? Even me, I don't sing that song anymore. It's a high energy one. Whew. I met a guy in Los Angeles. He was doing his roller skate, something like that, on Shango, and he broke his. I said, "You crazy man? You ain't I'm me. I'm not doing roller skate on Shango. Shango is a very high energy song. Kwaba means be welcome, which is a good thing, right? Oh, I love that. Well, I love all the songs on every album because when I'm doing an album, I just don't write the amount of song that is needed for the album. I always write more. And I can tell you I have tons of songs that never made it to the album. And the one that make it to the album are the one that stand and speak to my soul, that I know I will sing till I die, that I have pleasure singing. So asking me what is my favorite song is like asking me to choose, like a mother to choose. Do you like your son more than your daughter? No. Thank God I only have one kid, so I don't have that choice. I don't have that problem. But no, I don't. I love every song on FIFA because it was a journey. It was a journey that took me to the northern part of Benin, all around my country. There have been more than 100 people from different villages that welcome me and play on that song. So I pay tribute to them through that song. And I thank them for sharing the talent with me. So every song on that album, FIFA, I love it.
Our final question. Will you be performing in Baltimore or Washington, D.C. anytime soon?
Well, well, DC, I have a show Friday and Saturday that is not just singing, it's musical theater that had been written by my daughter, and it's talking about the slave trade through the gods and goddesses, the Orishas, Yemanja on one side, and the god of air, of oops, or the god of wind, because those two gods were really the witness of the slave trade. Yemanja being the water, seeing her children living, and the wind god blowing them away. So it is an interesting and a powerful show that she has been able to write. She's 29, and whoa. And she started being interested about the Orishas when she wrote her first essay in Yale, comparing the similarity of the Greek gods and the Orishas. And it's absolutely appalling. It's they are so similar. It can be it can be just random. So that's what the show is about. In Baltimore, I don't know. You have to invite me back here to play, and then I come. Kennedy Center. Yeah. Yeah, COVID stopped that. But I love to do that because that's what our music is about in Africa. When you hear a drum somewhere, you don't have an invitation card. You just sit in and you bump bump and you dance and you go home. And I want people to experience that around the world. But COVID-19 has put a stop on that. And I hope this is gonna stop and then we're gonna start again, going back and jiggling and dancing and jumping and having fun. Yep. Sorry. Give me your name, I'll try. Which one night you want? Saturday or Friday? Okay. Give me that and give a number to. I'm making my secretary. Well, we've been married for 35 years. He gotta do some work.
Well,
My husband.
okay.
Oh, come on.
So this is sort of ends our program because we have,
Whoa. We have two questions. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Okay, Nate, you do that. Oh, the listener. That is an excuse. You can go around and come.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to talk about that. So thank you everyone for coming. Let's give Angelique a big warm